What if I told you there's a country where people live two completely different lives? One the world is allowed to see and another hidden behind closed doors. A place where ancient traditions quietly shape modern behavior, where rules create rebellion, and where the truth is far more complex than the headlines. Welcome to Iran, a land of secrets, contradictions, and stories most people never hear. From underground parties and hidden digital worlds. 2 centuries-old rituals still alive today. This is the side of Iran they don't show you. In Iran, life is often lived on 2 completely different levels, to parallel worlds that rarely meet. Step outside into the streets and everything feels controlled and structured. Dress codes are observed, especially for women. Behavior is more reserved, and there's a constant awareness of social expectations. People move carefully, choosing their words, their actions, even their appearance, knowing they are part of a public space where norms matter. But then, a door closes. Inside a private home, the atmosphere can shift almost instantly. The formality fades. Headscarves may come off, music starts playing, and conversations become louder, freer, more personal. Friends gather, jokes are shared, and for a moment, it feels like a completely different world and that outsiders rarely get to witness. It's not just about breaking rules. It's about expressing identity in a space that feels safe. This contrast creates a unique way of life. From a young age, many Iranians learn how to navigate these 2 realities: to be formal, when to be relaxed, when to hold back, and when to fully express themselves. It becomes almost instinctive, like switching between 2 versions of the same life depending on where you are. To outsiders, it can feel surprising given contradictory. But for millions of people, this balance is simply normal. It's not a temporary situation or a rare exception. It's a daily rhythm. A quiet understanding that life isn't always lived in one world, but sometimes in 2 at once. In Iran, some gyms are unlike anything you've ever seen. They're not filled with modern machines or loud music, but with echoes of history. These ancient training houses are called zoorkhaneh, meaning house of strength. And stepping inside, one feels like traveling back in time. The space itself is unique, often built partially underground with a circular pit at the center where athletes gather. Around them, spectators sit quietly, watching with deep respect and reverence as if witnessing something sacred rather than physical training. But what happens next is more than exercise, a performance of discipline, tradition, and spiritat. The heart of the zoorkhaneh stands a guide known as the chitah master who doesn't just lead the session but controls its rhythm and soul. Sitting on an elevated platform, he beats a drum, chants ancient Persian poetry, and sometimes rings a bell, setting the tempo for every movement. His voice carries stories of heroes, warriors, and honor, connecting the athletes to a past that stretches back over 1,000 years inside the pit. The people performing the exercises inside move in perfect rhythm. They swing heavy wooden clubs called meals, some weighing over 20 kilograms, in slow, circular motions that build both strength and control. Others spin continuously, almost like dancers, maintaining balance and focus as the drumbeat echoes through the chamber. There are no mirrors, no distractions, only movement, breath, and rhythm. But zoorkhaneh is not just about physical power. It's deeply rooted in values like humility, respect, and brotherhood. Before entering, athletes often bow their heads. Strength here is not measured by muscles alone, but by character. Historically, these spaces were tied to ancient Persian warriors or straining not just their bodies, but their strong character and ethical values and sense of honor. What makes it even more remarkable is that this tradition has survived for centuries, unchanged in its essence. In a rapidly modernizing world, zoorkhaneh remains a living connection to Iran's past, a place where history is not remembered, but lived, because here, strength isn't just built, it's inherited. Hidden deep within the vast, unforgiving deserts of Iran lives a creature so rare. Most people will go their entire lives without ever knowing it still exists. The Asiatic chitah haunts spread across Asia from India to the Middle East is now on the very edge of extinction, with only a handful remaining in the wild. Unlike its African cousins, this chitah has adapted to a harsher, quieter world. It moves across dry plains and rocky deserts, blending almost perfectly into the pale landscape. Its body is built for speed, but here, survival is not just about running fast, it's about staying unseen. Silent, cautious, almost ghost-like. Many who pass through these regions never realize it is there, watching from a distance, disappearing as quickly as it came. But its greatest threat isn't nature, it is the modern world. Expanding roads cut through its habitat. Human activity pushes it further into isolation. With so few left, every single life matters. Every sighting becomes rare, almost legendary, and yet, against all odds, it still survives. Iran has some of the strictest internet controls in the world. Many of the platforms people use daily, social media apps, video sites, even messaging services, are often restricted or completely blocked. But instead of cutting people off from the world, something unexpected happened. It forced an entire generation to adapt. Today, millions of Iranians use VPN as part of their everyday routine, switching digital locations in seconds, jumping from country to country with a tap. For many teenagers, this isn't advanced technology, it's normal life. They grow up learning how to install, update, and rotate VPN. They troubleshoot connection failures and stay one step ahead of restrictions. It's almost like a digital cat and mouse game, where every block leads to a new workaround. In this hidden online world, access isn't simply given. It's something you learn, something you earn. And over time, this constant adaptation has turned ordinary users into surprisingly skilled digital navigators. People who understand the internet in ways most of the world never has to. Imagine walking into a shop, picking up an item, and when you ask for the price, the shopkeeper smiles and says it's nothing. Take it. For a moment, you might think you just got lucky. But in Iran, this is where the real interaction begins. Welcome to taarof, a centuries-old tradition of politeness that can feel less like conversation and more like a carefully performed ritual. In taarof, words don't always mean what they seem. Offers are made not just out of generosity, but as a way of showing respect and humility. A host might insist you eat more, again and again, even after you've said you're full. A friend may offer to pay for everything, even if they expect you to politely refuse. And if you accept too quickly, it can come across as rude because you didn't give the other person the chance to insist. But beneath this complexity lies something deeper. Taarof isn't about deception, it's about respect. It's about placing others before yourself, showing generosity even when it's inconvenient, and maintaining harmony in social interactions. Rooted in Persian history and culture, it reflects a society that values dignity, courtesy, and emotional intelligence in everyday life. Over time, Iranians learn this system naturally, almost like a second language. They know when an offer is genuine and when it's part of the ritual. And once you understand it, taarof transforms from confusion into something almost beautiful, a delicate dance of words where meaning isn't just spoken, it's felt.